Over the years, many holiday films have captured the hearts of moviegoers, but none seem to have the universal appeal and staying power of Miracle on 34th Street. Remarkably, as it nears its 60th anniversary, the film has lost none of its irresistible charm. The magical story still continues to thrill and delight fans of all ages.
There's something about this film, and it seems that we are rediscovering it on a very huge level. I don't know if it's nostalgia, I don't know if it's the message of the film, I don't know if it's the accessibility due to video, but in the last 20 years, the public has really embraced this film, and it has become acknowledged, really deservedly so, as a classic it is.
It also brought national acclaim to the Macy's Thanksgiving Day Parade and the famous store that shares its name.
Well, it was a tremendous piece of publicity. It was all positive. And the interesting thing is that it's still being used. At Christmas time, they run it again. And there's not many films that they run over and over again. But it is, as you might say, timeless.
Together, Miracle on 34th Street and the Macy's Thanksgiving Day Parade have become synonymous with the joy and wonder of Christmas time.
Bye, Daddy.
Miracle on 34th Street was adapted by director George Seaton from a sterling story by screenwriter Valentine Davies. The stellar cast includes Maureen O'Hara, John Payne, and a talented young newcomer named Natalie Wood. It spins the endearing tale of a sprightly department store Santa played by veteran actor Edmund Gwenn, who goes by the name Kris Kringle and insists that he is the real Santa Claus.
That's because it's real, just like I'm really Santa Claus. Oh, go ahead, pull it.
The portrayal of Edmund Gwenn in this film, it kind of blindsides you. You know, he claims he's a real Santa Claus. When you first meet him, people think he's just a kindly old man. But his character, his portrayal that, you know, there's got to be better things than commercialism, it kind of catches everybody off guard, and they slowly start to believe this guy might be really Santa Claus. So he's a character that basically you believe in. He's a real character. He might be really Santa Claus. The success of his portrayal in the film.
Despite the fact that the film is set during Christmas, it was released in the summer of 1947 because studio head Darryl F. Zanuck thought that more people went to the movies during that season. So the studio began scrambling to promote it while keeping the fact that it was a Christmas movie a secret.
Darryl Zanuck at 20th Century Fox, he was kind of leery about the appeal of a film that shows Santa Claus going on trial, you know, being insane. He was kind of worried about that. And he came around to like the film more and more as it progressed. So it was still released off-season, and it became a sensation. The reviews were just phenomenal, rave reviews, and it caught the public's attention.
But the elements that led to the success of Miracle on 34th Street started taking shape long before the rave reviews and the public acclaim. Preparation for the film began in mid-1946 as Fox made an unusual and important decision for that time. They would film much of the story on location in New York City.
In 1945, Fox started location filming in New York for the first time really with a film called The House on 92nd Street. And afterwards, Miracle on 34th Street was filmed in New York. The success of that other movie being done in New York City, capturing the streets, the scenes, the people, the character of New York, it affected the success of that movie so well that they decided to film Miracle on 34th Street on location.
But the main reason the studio had to film in New York was to capture the centerpiece of the movie, the Macy's Thanksgiving Day Parade. A perennial favorite since 1924, the parade had become a beloved tradition for New Yorkers and its many visitors during the holidays. Fox knew that in this case there could be no substitute for the real thing.
This is the first time that the parade was actually captured, the spirit of the parade, the magic that goes on behind the scenes, making this thing happen. It really takes a lot of work. And this movie captures it.
Looks like they're having a little trouble with the baseball player.
He was a clown last year. They just changed the head and painted him different. My mother told me.
Because of wartime shortages, the parade had been canceled for the duration of World War II. The balloons required a large amount of rubber and helium, and America's supply was needed for the war effort.
So Macy said, we'll donate the balloons for the rubber drive. And again, they couldn't use the helium because of the war, because of the war. And another reason, too, when we had all our soldiers fighting overseas in this really, really massive, situation, it was kind of inappropriate for us to be here in America celebrating a parade.
When the parade returned in 1945, the war-weary public greeted it with open arms. Everyone desperately wanted things to get back to normal, and the parade was the perfect antidote.
The return of the parade in 1945 was celebrated with ads in newspapers, trumpeting 5 new balloons, 5 huge balloons. The first time the big Merry Macy's parade returns. It received tons of press, and it was meant to be a celebration.
John Strauss, whose family owned Macy's at the time, started working at the store shortly after leaving the service in 1945.
I started on the so-called training squad at Macy's, where you were moved around in different departments and learned the business. And got interested in the parade and worked on it for 22 years. The parade was quite a production. It started the day after the Thanksgiving, when there was a Monday morning review of what happened and what shouldn't have happened and what could be done to improve it.
Strauss worked closely with Fox to ensure that the parade went off without a hitch when the cameras arrived to film in the fall of 1946.
The script was okayed by Macy's, and it was a cooperative venture. NBC had the prime position down on 34th Street, and Columbia filmed the parade up on Columbus Circle.
The parade scenes that you see in the film were filmed on November 28, 1946. The agreement was they had to get it done and done right the first time, because they couldn't turn the parade back and start it over again. They couldn't put that balloon back in the scene again. So those scenes in the film were done really, really fast, but they were done amazingly well, and they just blend in so beautifully that you really don't know you're watching a film.
Although every foreseeable problem was examined beforehand, some issues had to be dealt with right on the spot.
The cameras often were in the parade, and the parade had to go around them, or they were low and they had to go over them. The biggest problem with a parade was to keep it moving and not have big gaps in it.
There were 14 cameras placed along the parade route. They filmed on 77th Street, some scenes. They filmed along Central Park West, and they actually filmed on 34th Street, shooting towards the Macy's marquee where Edmund Gwynn greeted the crowds after the parade.
Unbeknownst to the general public, they witnessed a real live movie star play Santa Claus in 1946.
Edmund Gwynn actually rode on the Santa Claus float. He actually portrayed Santa Claus. And interestingly, there was no publicity about that. No one really knew that was an actor, Edmund Gwynn, appearing for a film. He was just Santa Claus. And the day after the parade, there was a little piece in the New York Times saying that Edmund Gwynn, playing Santa Claus, climbed off the float and climbed aboard the Macy's marquee. So in reality, no one knew it was him until afterwards.
I get a big thrill out of giving you this Look Magazine award for your wonderful portrayal as Kris Kringle in that great picture, Miracle on 34th Street.
Thank you, Bob. The credit really doesn't belong to me. It belongs to the man who made this film, George Seaton.
The writer and director of
Yes.
Miracle on 34th Street. Congratulations, George Seaton.
Thank you very, very much, Bob, and thanks to the editors of Look, and thanks to everybody who helped make the
Well,
picture.
it was really wonderful.
After the release of the film a year later, Gwen would gain international fame as Santa Claus, eventually winning an Academy Award as Best Supporting Actor for his portrayal of Kris Kringle.
Now I know there's a Santa Claus.
Today when we watch the film, we are treated to several choice shots of the parade exactly how it looked back in 1946.
There's a scene looking down Central Park West. It's really a beautiful shot when you see the back of the Santa Claus float heading towards Columbus Circle. That really captures the spirit of the parade wonderfully well. And the scenes at Macy's on 34th Street really look phenomenal.
And Macy's was precisely where millions of people flocked to buy holiday gifts and meet Santa Claus in person after the parade was over. While in New York, Fox wisely took advantage of the interiors at Macy's as well in order to capture the real feel of a working department store during the busiest time of the year.
There was one shot in the president's office, not with the president, but with an actor, and the scenes with Santa Claus and children.
It's a cooperation with Macy's, filming it at Macy's. Without that, it might have not come off so well. you actually get the feel of what was done behind the scenes at Macy's department store, the Christmas rush, the shoppers, what goes on to putting Santa Claus at the store. You know, the kids seeing Santa Claus every day. What Santa Claus has to put up with, seeing the little kids every day.
It's a fine name. What do you want for Christmas, Peter?
I want a fire engine just like the big ones, only smaller. It has a real hose that's going to throw out water, and I won't do it in the house. I'll only do it in the backyard. I promise.
It all came together, and Fox excelled at this location for filming during this era, and it really adds to the film.
But naturally, shooting on location couldn't provide the crews with the same resources they were privy to on a Hollywood studio lot.
When they did some of the filming in the store, there wasn't enough power to run all the equipment, so they ended up closing down one of the elevator shafts and running power lines up the elevator shaft and down to big transformers in the basement. Provided lots of juice.
As a precaution, Fox decided it would replicate the Santa Claus set back in Los Angeles, just in case some of the scenes needed to be reshot. So Strauss gave the producers some authentic props from the store.
My assignment that Christmas was stuffed animals in the toy department. One of the producers came down and said, I want that, and I want that, and I gave him a few things he didn't want. So they took these huge panda bears back to Hollywood and put them on the set in Hollywood. And thank God I got rid of those monsters.
How many fingers do you see?
3. Oh, you bite your nails, too.
The final product, which combined scenes shot on both coasts, has since captivated countless viewers with its wondrous blend of humor, love, and faith. And its stars, though popular in many other features throughout the years, are still widely remembered for their contributions to this timeless film.
All that's got to happen is for a policeman to ask him his name. A big argument, clang, clang, Bellevue.
It was such a big hit when it came out, huge success, that in fact Macy's actually had John Payne and Maureen O'Hara appear after 1947's parade on top of the Macy's marquee, greeting the crowds.
Maureen O'Hara's unique relationship with Macy's in the film has continued right up to the present day.
Just before the parade, November 1999, Macy's had Maureen O'Hara back at Macy's in Herald Square. And she had a little ceremony outside, and then she went upstairs and she greeted her fans, and she actually signed the copy of the videotape cases, she signed the tape to her fans, and it was a huge turnout. And then in March of 2004, she appeared there again celebrating the release of her autobiography, which she signed for their fans. So they've had her back twice in the last 10 years. So they appreciate her connection with Macy's.
We don't carry that brand, but I think Gimbel's does. Let me see.
The film serves as a constant reminder that the true spirit of giving overshadows the commercialism of the holidays, and humorously shows that even heads of dueling department stores can be allies.
Interesting, it showed the rivalry between Macy's and Gimbel in a very playful tone, which was another amazing situation that came out of the film. They really acknowledged the huge success of the film, and they really were happy with it. And they celebrated the success of the film.
Oh, I don't think that's going to be enough. I'd better give you some...
I'll make up the difference.
Buy it through the store and get 10% discount.
I can get it for cost.
But publicity and profits aside, the real message of the film still remains clear.
Faith is believing in things when common sense tells you not to.
Huh?
I mean, just because things don't turn out the way you want them to the first time, you've still got to believe in people.
Stop, Uncle Fred, stop!
It's about Christmas, and it's about a parade. It has all the ingredients of a big action, and it's fun.
Mr. Kringle is Santa Claus.
Miracle on 34th Street usually starts off my holiday season. It gets me in the mood for the parade. It gets me in the mood for the holidays, for Christmas, for celebrating the upcoming season. It just starts the season off right.
The success of the parade is a testament to the hard work and imagination of the caring people who have put their heart and soul into it since its inception.
The whole idea of the parade is to welcome the Christmas holiday to New York City. And Santa Claus is the hero to every child and every kid along that parade route. And they wait to see Santa Claus. He is their hero. And rightfully so, the parade basically gives him a place of honor. And he will come off his float and go up to Macy's windows and unveil the Christmas windows. So Santa Claus was the star of the parade, and he still is to this day.